Hello, welcome back. Welcome to day 3. I am Nadia Colburn and very happy to be here with you again. Today, we're going to explore closely reading literature itself. We have quieted the mind and brought our body into the writing experience. This is all very important. Now we want to bring in another element, language and literature itself. In the past, people didn't go to school to learn their craft. They would apprentice themselves. Think of the Renaissance painters. They all learned in one another's studios. Our very best teachers are the books we read. Read as a writer. Read work that you love, that inspires you, that you can learn from. Read greedily, personally. And I want to show you some ways that you can do that. So how does the author take words and put them on a page? How does she form her sentences? What details does she use? How does she help you stay in the body? How does she translate experience into language and then language into the sensation in your own, the reader's body? Writing is a process of translation. As writers, we translate our ideas, our emotions, our experiences into language on the page. And then readers then translate those words back into feelings and experiences. So we might think that things are happening when we're reading or writing in the mind alone, but really, things are happening through our awareness of the body. So if I say, the apple is fresh, what do you experience hearing those words in your body? The apple is fresh. Do you see the apple? Where is it? Do you taste the apple? How does it taste? Now, what do you experience when I say, the applesauce is sweet? Notice how the texture changes. How can you get the body, the physical descriptions inside of your own writing? Let's look at a short passage from My Antonia, written in 1918 by Willa Cather. My Antonia is about pioneer life in Nebraska in the late 19th century, and its first section focuses largely on prairie life as experienced by the narrator Jim, who in this passage is 10 years old. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us that to listen, we need to be patient and pay close attention. Jim's openness to the world around him, his close attention to detail, his aliveness in all of his senses, helps him see what is normally not seen, experience what is normally not experienced. And in looking at the very small, the passage opens up to the very big and a moment of transcendent insight. He reminds us of that natural mindfulness that children have. So here's the passage. Grandmother swung the bag of potatoes over her shoulder and went down the path, leaning forward a little. The road followed the windings of the draw. When she came to the first bend, she waved at me and disappeared. I was left alone with this new feeling of lightness and content. I sat down in the middle of the garden, where snakes could scarcely approach unseen, and leaned my back against a warm yellow pumpkin. There were some ground cherry bushes growing along the furrows, full of fruit. I turned back the papery triangular sheaths that protected the berries and ate a few. All about me, giant grasshoppers, twice as big as any I had ever seen, were doing acrobatic feats among the dried vines. The gophers scurried up and down the plowed ground. There, in the sheltered draw bottom, the wind did not blow very hard, but I could hear it singing its humming tune up on the level, and I could see the tall grasses wave. The earth was warm under me, and warm as I crumbled it through my fingers. Clear little red bugs came out and moved in slow squadrons around me. Their backs were polished vermilion with black spots. I kept as still as I could. Nothing happened. I did not expect anything to happen. I was something that lay under the sun and felt it, like the pumpkins, and I did not want to be anything more. I was entirely happy. Perhaps we feel like that when we die and become a part of something entire, whether it is sun and air or goodness and knowledge. At any rate, that is happiness. To be dissolved into something complete and great. When it comes to one, it comes as naturally as sleep. The scene is set up for us. Grandmother goes down the path with her heavy sack of potatoes slightly bent over, a metaphor perhaps for how Jim feels about adult life. But the grandmother stops and gives a friendly wave and then disappears. So we can feel the love between the grandmother and the boy, and also the boy's delicious sense of freedom. The scene is rich with details. Many writing classes tell students, show, don't tell. While there is also an important place in writing for telling, showing with careful description can bring readers right into the scene so that we feel we are there with the narrator in our bodies. In the second paragraph, the narrator immediately tells us that he is in a space where he will be able to see what is normally unseen. He is where snakes could scarcely approach unseen. He gets right down into the earth, right where people normally don't go, where only secret things slither, and he proceeds to observe this world that is so often hidden. We know the narrator is really down low because his back is resting against a pumpkin. We can almost enter his child-sized body. The natural world has provided the comfort and warmth he needs in this pumpkin, and he makes himself at home. The natural world even feeds him. We move with the narrator as he picks the berries and eats them, fully satisfied. Those little cherries. It's a whole other world down on the ground, full, alive, abundant. Even the grasshoppers are twice their normal size with their acrobatic tricks. The passage seems to suggest that when you observe closely, everything becomes larger, more animated. The Gophers go about their business in this new ecosystem, and by the 7th line of the second paragraph, the narrator has already used most of his senses. He has felt the heat of the pumpkin and the earth between his fingers, he has eaten cherries, he has seen grasshoppers and gophers and many other things, and he hears the wind. This inhuman world is made familiar, and the waving grasses take the place of the waving grandmother in the first paragraph. As Jim experiences this rich, normally hidden world, the reader experiences it with him. Notice that the sentences are very simple. Cather does not use fancy vocabulary. She is in a child's mind, but while her vocabulary is simple, her perceptions are rich. The narrator doesn't even have names for everything, but that makes his perceptions all the more detailed. Queer little bugs came out and moved in slow squadrons around me. Their backs were polished vermilion with black spots. In order to see, the narrator must be still and patient. I kept as still as I could. Nothing happened. I did not expect anything to happen. I was something that lay under the sun and felt it like the pumpkins, and I did not want to be anything more. I was entirely happy. The passage moves from the physical to the abstract, from the actual and tangible to the explicitly emotional, and finally to the philosophical. Perhaps we feel that when we die and become a part of something entire, whether it is sun and air or goodness and knowledge. Simply sitting down in the grasses and observing the world around him leads the narrator to an insight that is as profound as any. And because we have been in the body with him through the scene, the abstract ideas move us, the readers, emotionally. So in just a short paragraph, Cather creates a whole vivid description and an emotional and spiritual experience. So now I'm going to invite you, after a little meditation, to create a scene and to really stay in the physical experiences as you do. So let's turn off the screen. I'll lead you through a short meditation, read you a short part of the passage from Willa Cather again, and give you a writing prompt. So please have fun with it and see where it takes you. Okay, so make sure you have some writing materials and come to a comfortable position, either cross-legged or in a chair, and we'll take a few breaths together. Breathing in a nice long deep breath and out. Try to take some nice long deep breaths down into your lungs and belly. See what it's like to really extend the breath and breathe in and out as fully as you can. And let's stay a few moments here with this long, deep breathing. Now just listen, stay connected to your breath. Open your ears as I read the passage. The earth was warm under me and warm as I crumbled it through my fingers. Queer little red bugs came out and moved in slow squadrons around me. Their backs were polished vermilion with black spots. I kept as still as I could. Nothing happened. I did not expect anything to happen. I was something that lay under the sun and felt it, like the pumpkins, and I did not want to be anything more. So describe a scene that a 10-year-old is in. It could be from your childhood or from an imagined childhood or something else. Describe it in as much vivid detail as possible. Stay in the scene. Again, give as many physical details as possible. I'm going to give you just a few words to work with. Crumbled, slow, nothing, more. And stay connected to the body and to those physical details as you write, whatever physical details you bring to the scene. And what does the child realize as he or she notices the scene around him or her? So have fun with that. Stay curious, see where you go, and just write. Stay connected to the physical details as you're writing. Try to use all of the senses. Keep on breathing. Connect mind and body. Take one more minute here. Of course, keep writing if you want to, but congratulations for completing day 3. I'm so proud of you. It is such a pleasure to share this journey with you. You are more than halfway done. I very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow. For day 4, we'll go deeper tomorrow, and I am just, as I said, so happy to be sharing this practice with you. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you tomorrow.